Today we discuss Aegislash in Pokemon Go PvP, how it might work, how it definitely can't work, and go over a few things. Now, if you're familiar with the main series games, Aegislash is a complete terror. You don't want to play against this thing. And the Pokemon Company had to nerf his stats in Generation 8, so when Sword and Shield came out. And that's how good it was, and they don't do that very often. So we'll speak about him in PvP, or him or her. It is a Ghost Steel type with 12 resistances and just the 4 weaknesses. So one of the best typings in the game. So it's neutral to electric and water, and it's weak to fire, ground, ghost, and dark. Everything else it resists. So unbelievable typing. And you look at these stats and you're thinking, oh my goodness, for Great League, this thing's going to be an absolute terror. But it's not as simple as that. It depends how Niantic put it into the game, because it does change forms mid-game, and I'm not sure how Niantic can do that. But there are some ways around it, and that's what we'll discuss today. So before we go any further, we'll look at its move pool. It has a pretty nice move pool, and it really depends on what Niantic decide to give it. For fast moves, I'll go over the highlighted ones as they are more relevant. Fury Cutter, Psycho Cut, and definitely wants that Shadow Claw. For charged moves, Close Combat, Iron Head. Rock Slide might be okay. Sacred Sword, you might be familiar with that, Cobalion's new exclusive move, and Shadow Ball. So preferred moveset, definitely Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and Sacred Sword. I think Sacred Sword something like, is it 35 energy? Really spammy move, so would be a fantastic moveset for it, and definitely would want it to have some really good moves, because it might have some limitations. So how will it work? We're not quite sure yet, but we know how it can't work. So we'll go over that, and also go over some how it can work at the end of the video. So Aegislash in shield form, it cannot use damaging moves in shield form. So generally, in the Pokedex, when you send it out to battle, it starts off in shield form, and then when it uses an attacking move, it switches to blade form. So it simply cannot, for example, it cannot use Shadow Ball in shield form. And I use the analogy, it's a bit like an elephant trying not to be an elephant. It can try hard not to be an elephant, but it will always be an elephant. Same with Aegislash. It can try to use Shadow Ball in shield form. No matter how hard it tries, it can't do it. It's just how it is in the games. It's never been any evidence of it doing so. So obviously this complicates things, because how are you supposed to attack with this thing? It has these incredible stats in shield form, but you can't attack. So that does complicate things. So I wouldn't be expecting this to be, along with Azumarill and Registeel and Altaria, top tier, which it would be if it could attack in shield form, but it just doesn't make sense. So moving on, can there be 2 individual forms? I don't think so. That would be a bit silly in my opinion. We look at Cherrim. Cherrim changes forms mid-game if the weather is sunny, for example, but Pokemon Go kind of worked around that. They used out of combat, you catch sunny Cherrim in the sunny weather, and it's a bit more complicated to change forms with Cherrim. Whereas Aegislash, it just pulls out its sword and it's in blade form, so a little easier there. And this is the description in game. Credit to Cerebi for this. The Pokemon changes its form to blade form when it uses an attack move, and changes to shield form when it uses King's Shield. Now, King's Shield is an exclusive move in the game. It's a non-damaging move, but I'm not sure how that would work in Pokemon Go. Switching back and forth, would they make that a fast move? More likely than a charge move, I would say. Would make sense to put it as a charge move, but I don't think we'll be seeing King's Shield in Pokemon Go. So possible solutions. So I have 2. The first one is simple, the second one is complicated. So we can only have the blade form. So the blade form can attack no problem. And this image is taken from Pokken Tournament, which is a Nintendo Switch fighting game, a bit like Mortal Kombat. You might be familiar with it. Really fun game, but in the main series games, when you send out Aegislash, it's in shield form. However, in this game, this is an example of Aegislash being sent out in blade form. So Niantic could just scrap the shield form, maybe be able to change forms in the Pokedex, but when using it for PvP, it will always be in blade form. Obviously, this thing wouldn't be much good in any league because it's just, it's a bit like the Deoxys. It can't take a hit at all, but it's very strong. So, would be unfortunate for PvP, but could be a solution for them to implement Aegislash into the game. So I've tried to come up with something that could possibly work in Pokemon Go PvP, and it would require new mechanics, and it could get complicated. Whereas Niantic could go the easier route and just use blade form, but maybe they want to use both. So I'll go over this changing forms mid-battle. So you start in shield form, like in the main series games, and your eligibility for the PvP league uses the blade form CP, but you start at a lower CP. So for example, in Great League, you'll start in shield form, you'll be about 900-ish CP, and that's not too great. So that means your base defense will be about 180, I believe, whereas it would usually be 290. So that's comparable to, I'm not sure, something like a Swampert with lower, but also with lower health. So it won't be very tanky because the CP is so low. And then you change CP mid-battle once you use that charge move. So then you'll get back up to that 1500. So you'll be really, really strong. Take a few hits a bit better earlier. But yeah, not sure it would be too great, but this is just trying to come up with a solution here for it to work. And perhaps we could give it a new fast move. And that fast move could be, this is in its move pool in the main series games. It's not in Pokemon Go, but we could give it laser focus. So that's similar. For example, Yawn does 0 damage, Lock On barely does any damage. Maybe because shield form can't use attacking moves, maybe they give it something similar to Lock On and Yawn, such as laser focus. I'm not saying they give it the same damage and energy, but it's just an example. So this, I think, could possibly work. It'd have to change the displays of the CP in the Pokedex or in the storage, in your own storage. So could be a bit complicated, but it's just a solution. So in summary, I don't think we're going to be seeing this incredible tank in the Great League. Unfortunately, it just doesn't make sense. I don't see how you can stay in that form when using an attacking charge move. Or maybe they give it gutter charge moves, who knows. So, I don't think they'll separate the two forms. Maybe you can change it in the Pokedex or something, or it changes depending on whether you're in PvP or you're just looking at it in the Pokedex. So thanks for watching. Hope this helped shed some light on Aegislash, and hopefully Niantic implement it as best they can. But for PvP, it's hard to see it being a huge threat because of how it works. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.